town council meeting to order at, Chief, it is now 7:01, so now I'm officially late. So at 7:01, I'd like to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand if you're able, and Ann, will you guide us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I have some amendments and movements for the agenda. I'll just go through them, and if somebody would like to make a motion to make those changes. I'm going to amend the amended agenda, correct. So a couple of amendments. First, if we could move under unfinished business, discussion and possible action regarding the motion regarding the Chief of Police request for the Town Council on November 12th, 2025 regular meeting to the underneath the Chief of Police update, so it'll be item K1, so that way the chief can get it all handled while all in one item issue instead of splitting it in half and making him stay. So that's number one. Number two, under new business, if we can add for discussion and possible action a request from the Cromwell, is a group called Irish American Organization. What's the full acronym for Kathy's group that does the fundraising for the
Town of Cromwell St. Patty's Day Parade Committee.
The Town of Cromwell St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee for discussion and possible action, just so we can discuss a request that we received from the committee. And then adding underneath appointments, John Keithan to item 1D or Q1D for the Public Asset and Facilities Committee for a regular term expiring 12/1/2028. So those are the three additions and changes that I have. I'll accept a motion to make those amendments.
Motion approved.
Motion made by Al. Can I have a second?
Second.
I'll give it to Brian. Second made by Brian. Any further discussion on those amendments? Okay, first a motion on the amended. Move to amend. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries unanimously. Now a motion to approve the amended agenda.
Motion approved.
Made by Al. Second by Jack. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, now we'll move on to item D, which is introduce new Director of Planning and Development to the Town Council. Yep.
Don't you need another appointment for town council?
But that would be after the resignation.
So let's do this.
You gotta do it after the resignation, though.
Sure. Should I move Julia's resignation up? I mean, the town clerk's not here, so we're not gonna be able to swear him in, but he can sit.
But he can go get sworn in at any time,
Oh.
but you gotta appoint him first.
Got it. Okay, so let's add to the agenda. Can we add it earlier, or does it matter what? We have to wait until we accept her resignation first?
You gotta have the resignation first, so you have the void.
So move her resignation?
Yeah, let me move resignation up to, I'm gonna try to move it up a little further than that, so.
You could move them all, because you can accept 3A, B, and C at the same time.
So let me move resignations to item, we'll add it between D and E, we'll make it a new E and bump everything down. And then an appointment there as Jamin DeProto to fill the town council slot, right underneath it. So that way we can get that all done right away. So we'll do that after the introduction of the new Director in Planning and Development. Okay, so can the new Director come on up to the podium, introduce yourself, and I'm sure the council will gladly welcome you. First speaker of the night, so sometimes you have to give it a couple of shakes.
No, they didn't turn it on.
Oh, well, that too. There you go.
Good evening, Council. It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Andrew Armstrong, and it is my honor to say that I am the new Director of Planning and Development. A little bit about me. For the last 14 years, I've worked in planning and zoning, most recently with the City of Bristol, where I ran their site plan review team. I also worked in economic development and as well as planning and zoning. Before that, I was with the town of Newington. And prior to that, I worked as a consultant doing zoning compliance reports all across the country for financial institutions in various states. I also worked for a top land use law firm in Phoenix, Arizona. And I've also worked for private firms, planning and landscape architecture. I've also worked as a private consultant myself on the side, anything from planning and zoning to plans themselves, as well as designs and graphics. So I'm very excited to be here. This is a wonderful town. We have an excellent land use team with Bruce Driska and Jennifer Tranquillo. We also have great staff surrounding us and assisting us, and I'm excited to be here. I'm looking forward to working with you. I want to be an advocate for our residents, a resource and an advocate for existing and new businesses. I want to make sure that we're compliant with the laws and regulations, and just in general provide the best planning and zoning service that we can. And with that, thank you very much for having me. Are there any questions?
Yeah, do the counselors have any questions for
May
Mr.
I?
Armstrong? Go ahead, Mr. Waters.
Welcome to Cromwell, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
I was particularly impressed with some of the work you've done with Sustainable CT. As Stuart probably has told you, that has been something that I've been pushing on, and I know we're going to get our bronze certification, but picking your brain for different ways to make sure that the sustainability efforts kind of go throughout all of the different town departments and town endeavors with your experience would be really helpful. So I really look forward to working with you. I have the privilege of being a liaison to planning and zoning, so look forward to seeing you in action in those meetings. Keep Mr. Kanata and Miss Kelly in line, right? Not a chance. You got your hands full. But I'll watch you try. But I'm really looking forward to having you on the team. So welcome to the town of Cromwell.
Thank you all so much for the warm welcome. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Absent any other questions, we'll now move on to our amended item E, which will be the resignations. There are 3 resignations this evening: Julia Argema from the Town Council, and Lori Ouellette and Faye Tyne from Community Events Committee. So I will take a motion to accept those resignations with
Motion to
regrets.
accept.
Made by Al?
Yes, second with regret.
With Jack, with regrets. Any further discussion with that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries unanimously. Next, we'll have and I'll welcome up to the dais, Jamin DeProto. Mr. DeProto is probably well known to most of the people in this room. Jamin is a PhD doctor with former experience at Harvard. He also is the proud owner of Jefferson Fry Company here in Cromwell. And he has served in the past on the Board of Finance and as the co-chair or chair of the Conservation Commission? Chair of the Conservation Commission. He brings a plethora of experience to the town, and he was recently endorsed by the Republican Town Committee as their endorsed candidate to fill Ms. Argema's vacancy. So Jamin, would you like to introduce yourself to the council and the town?
I mean, I don't know if I could do better than that. It is an absolute pleasure to be here. It's an honor and privilege to even been thought of and nominated for the role. I mean, it's the most important body on the town government. I know everyone here, and I've worked with almost all of you on something or other at one point or another, and I like everyone here. I think we all may have different opinions here and there, but there's a lot of respect, and I think a lot of wisdom and experience across the board in many different things, and that's something that I have always really valued. That's something I think I bring, and it was one of my best attributes, is that I've had a lot of different experiences. You know, most people think, well, you used to be an instructor at Harvard Medical School, but now you hawk fries. It's like, well, you know, there's a lot of things in between there, and you know, you gotta learn everything, you know, from like fixing your plumbing and to you know, wiring up a microscope. It's all part and parcel to being seeing a bigger picture of the world and enriching it. So thank you very much for the opportunity to introduce myself, and hi to everybody.
Yeah. Any questions for Jamin before we move forward with his appointment? or comments?
Well,
Okay, so, I would like to accept a motion to have him seated to fill the vacancy,
I'll make a motion.
made by Brian.
Second.
I'll give it to Paula, second by Paula. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries unanimously. So you've been appointed to the town council of the town of Cromwell. The way this is going to work for tonight, I invite you to be, you're not technically sworn in until Joanne does it, the town clerk, but you're welcome to sit at the dais with the rest of us if you want, and ask any questions. I'll recognize you as a soon-to-be appointed member. You won't be able to participate in any votes this evening until you're officially sworn in, but for all other purposes, we'll make sure that you get the same deference every member does for questions and answers. Let me just say, it's an absolute privilege to be able to serve with you. I look forward to it, and I respect the heck out of you. So thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. With that, now we will be moving on to item E, which is, or F now, which is proclamation of, presentation of a proclamation. And so, Mr. Brennan, if you would like to come up to the podium, your family, I think there are some family members here that are here with you as well. Ordinarily with the presentation, what I'd like to do is read the proclamation, and then invite yourself and your family members to say a few words, and then invite the council to say some words, and then finally a big old group photo. So come on up. I promise it's only a couple minutes of embarrassment. For 20 years of service, I promise it won't last too long, but we like doing this for our retired employees.
This sheet on the agenda.
It's E.
No, okay, never mind. You know, the way we do-
So,
resignations and January.
So, Mr. Brennan, on behalf of the Cromwell Town Council and the town of Cromwell, achieving 20 years here is a remarkable thing. I called you on your last day of service with the town to thank you, but we wanted to reiterate it here at a public forum because 20 years is a long time, and I've known your family for a really long time as well. And you know, when we think about people who dedicate themselves to their community and work all the time to try to make the town better, I mean, we think of you. And for 20 years, and I'm seeing lots of people pointing, and you know, 20 years in the sewer department, it's sometimes a messy job, but somebody has to do it, and every single resident benefits from your expertise and your work. It is one of the hidden talents and hidden jobs that make our town go, and it's because of dedicated employees like you that we're able to continue to have a town that functions. So let me read the proclamation. It says, whereas Gary Brennan has faithfully served the town of Cromwell for 20 years as a valued member of the sewer department, and whereas throughout his career, Mr. Brennan has served as a sewer maintainer, including periods of additional responsibility, and was known as a dedicated and dependable employee who consistently answered the call whenever he was needed, and whereas his professionalism, reliability, and strong work ethic ensured the continued operation and maintenance of the town's sewer infrastructure, contributing to the health, safety, and well-being of the town of Cromwell and the Cromwell community. Whereas the town of Cromwell wishes to express its sincere appreciation for Mr. Brennan's many years of service and commitment to public service, now, therefore, I, James Demetriadis, Mayor of the town of Cromwell, would like to express gratitude and appreciation to Gary Brennan for his long-standing service over the past 20 years and wish him the best of luck on his continued success for the next chapter of his life. So congratulations on behalf of the town of Cromwell.
I want to say thank you very much. My wife and I grew up here. We're very fortunate to live in this town, and 3 of my children went to the schools here, great school system, and they all turned out pretty good, so thank you very much. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and I love the town, and I know all you do, and I thank you for your service trying to make this a better place to live, because we all love Cromwell.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I just want to thank James for calling Gary. I thought it was incredibly thoughtful of you to speak to him upon his retirement. I really appreciate it. Also want to say, I lived in Cromwell my whole entire life. My mother was a teacher here and retired after 36 years, so we have a long history of service to the town, and I'm very proud of my husband. The kids are going to miss him being their snow watch, especially our teacher in the family. They could always count on him knowing what was going on. So again, I really want to say thank you to the town and say how incredibly proud I am of Gary.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We are too. Any counselor comments or or other family comments? Go ahead, Mr. Waters.
Gary, I've seen you just about every day going by in the vehicle. And there's always a smile on his face and a wave. Whoever's following in your footsteps, could you make sure they keep the trucks and equipment as clean as you maintain them, please? Because they are spotless. I have to commend you and your crew, because every time I see those trucks, they look like brand new. And I know that's what you're doing there, is you are saving the taxpayers money on their maintenance.
Well, so a lot of that has to do with my foreman, Wayne, who keeping the vehicles spotless. So the only thing I want to say is I am fourth generation in Cromwell living here.
I just want to say that I've known the Brennan family for many, many years, the entire family, and and they are a wonderful group of people, and I've always enjoyed my time with them, and in discussions Gary and I have had about the town and what we need to do and what we should do, and we should change that and fix this, and I've always tried to be the best listener I could be to you. And thanks for everything you've done, and that goes for the whole family.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, any other counselor comments? Okay, hearing none, why don't we come back up and we do one big group photo with us behind, and then we'll be on our way.
You go in here.
And then the embarrassment ends, I promise. I see you grimacing with all the attention.
I'll tell Marce I saw you.
Alrighty, so we will continue along, for the next item on the agenda, which will be, I'll give it a minute.
What do you want to do?
We're gonna do commission chairman.
Did we approve the agenda?
Yeah, we did. We did.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yep, we're gonna do now, commission chairman and staff reports. You have in your packet various staff reports from different departments. The liaison from the, Board of Education said they haven't, he doesn't have any updates for us, since the last, meeting. You'll note in your packet, there are some recreational software updates that are happening through the Parks and Rec Service that will make it easier for people to sign up for programs online. The AARP, it will be doing tax services with tax preparers here in the senior center. There are 180 appointments already made for seniors to get assistance with their taxes here in town. The Health Department has a history of the services that they provided. Starting in April of 2025, they began counting and tabulating all of the different services that they've done. They've done 270 total inspections. You'll see the food services. It's broken down by type of permitting and type of work that they do. I think that's some really great data, including the attendance that they've had at their multiple flu clinics that they've had. I think our health director, she's doing a wonderful job getting out there and doing a whole range of activities and really working on collaboration with the fire district and others to make sure that we're delivering great services to the residents. And those were the liaison reports that were in our folder. And as absent any other staff reports, we'll move to the mayor's update. So a couple of things that I wanted to highlight. We'll start with last week, Deputy Mayor Waters and I toured Revan Industries, which is a new business here in the town of Cromwell on Commerce Drive. Very impressive young man, about my age, runs that place, and he has lots of technological equipment in there that is able to do really complex custom machine work. And it was a really impressive facility because on the outside it doesn't look like a warehouse, but on the inside the warehouse was revving along. This evening, myself and the town manager attended the dedication of the middle school auditorium in the memory of Mike Camilleri, who was the longtime Board of Education chair here in town, who passed away 4 years ago, and we miss him very much, and it was a really beautiful tribute to a wonderful man who, one of the comments that I made was, the thing about Mike was he always led with kindness, and he always led with how can we work together to get things done, and we need more Mikes in this world. And so it was really a beautiful and touching tribute to somebody who was just such a fabulous person. Otherwise, it was a quiet New Year. Chicken smell of manure aside in the northern tier of town. I got lots of calls on that, but I think it's resolved now. But otherwise, those were my major updates. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the town manager's report. Mr. Town Manager?
You have something to share that's not gonna happen again?
What, about the manure?
Yeah.
I think I didn't smell, I drove around today, I didn't smell it, so I'm hoping it's done.
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm
no.
not so sure. Yeah,
Okay, well,
that's okay.
that's fine.
So, we started the budget process. The directors are in the process of putting their budgets together, and the director of finance has been providing as much information as possible. We went to the director of finance and myself went to the Board of Finance meeting, and once again, we have another loggerhead with the vice chair. So, 30 days from, what date was that? January 6th. So, 30 days from January 6th, this body apparently will be deciding who the vice chair will be between the two candidates that have been nominated. Other than that, pretty much everything right now is revolving around preparing the budget, so try to answer any question that you may have.
Any questions for the town manager? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to the town council liaison reports. I will start with my right. Any liaison reports to my right from any of the committees that anyone is part of?
Number of cancellations, so nothing for last month.
To my left.
Senior Advisory Commission held a meeting Monday, and the seniors seem to have a lot of activity going on. I was very impressed and have been impressed for years, the amount of activity that Amy does for the town along with her staff. It's just unbelievable. When you come in here during the daytime, you're not gonna find any parking places because everybody else is taken that go to the senior center and their activities. But that was on that. EDC, I did not attend that meeting, the first one I haven't attended in years. I was one of the guest speakers at the Cromwell football banquet back in December, which was an honor, and that's about it, sir.
Great. Brian?
I have nothing, holidays and vacation and whatnot I have.
Paula?
I volunteered at the 4th Annual Cromwell Farmers Market Craft Fair on December 13 in the Town Hall, which was very well attended, lots of vendors, lots of people coming in, and it was a good event. I attended the Youth Advisory Board meeting on December 16th as liaison, and you can read about any of that in Amy's reports. And I also attended the Senior Commission meeting on Monday, the 12th, as a resident.
Great, thank you. Two quick additional items. Just a reminder, next week we'll be meeting with with the Board of Finance jointly to hear the presentation on the WIS fields. So make sure you guys all have that on your calendar. It's the 18th, Amanda? 20th, sorry, the 20th, yeah, week. Sorry, yeah, thank you. The 20th, for that presentation about those fields. I think they came in a lot higher than I think a lot of us were expecting, and hopefully hearing from the engineering team, we'll be able to have the opportunity to address the team directly and get some answers about what the scope of the project is and what different options are to fix the flooding problems over there.
Is that at 5 o'clock, James?
I believe so, yes.
5, okay.
And then, Tony, I had a quick question I didn't ask. I know we're transitioning to a new website, but I've been told that the website is currently down. Is that in relation to the transfer?
No,
Okay,
we're working on it.
okay. No worries. So we'll move on to our financial and finance, report with the,
If I may,
oh, yeah,
Mr. Mayor,
go
I
ahead.
just want to pass on to the council that our librarian, her father, unfortunately passed this week.
Oh, please extend our sincerest condolences to Kara. That's difficult. My gosh, right after the holidays. So we'll move to finance report now. So on that sad news. Item number 1 is the budget report.
Yep, so in your packet are the budget reports through December. Everything's pretty much on target, and I don't really have any concerns. But I continue to monitor all budgets on a monthly basis and work with the department heads. The audit has been filed. When I get hard copies, I will let Amanda know, so she can email everyone if they would like to pick their copy up. And the finance office now is moving on to the budgets. All department heads have to have their budgets to me by January 23rd. And in your packet, I did put the budget schedule for you.
Thank you. Just for the public that is watching at home, I'll publish a copy of the budget schedule. But the annual budget referendum this year will be May 5th, the first Tuesday in May, as it is every year. That's May 5th, the first Tuesday in May. I'll publish the full time frame so folks know when all the different meetings are coming up. But just, if you're listening at home, May 5th is the annual budget referendum date to mark your calendars for. Or in the room, if you're listening in the room as well.
Mayor, can the counselors please bring their calendars next meeting so we can schedule your budget meeting?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So counselors, bring your calendars, be they in writing or digital, so we can pick our dates for our budget workshops. Any questions for the finance director on the budget report? I have one quick question. I see the fund balance sheet from January 26th. Do we have to wait until the audit is 100% finalized to know what the fund balance was from last fiscal year?
This is the CNR fund balance.
Okay,
I do have a new fund balance number, I just don't have it with me.
Okay.
I apologize for that, but yes, I do have a fund balance number for fiscal year 25.
Okay,
for
if
the
you-
audit. But this is, in your packet is the CNR fund balance.
got it. If you could bring that number to the next meeting, that'd be appreciated.
I can do that.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions for the finance director? Okay, next is discussion and approval of general government and social services special revenue fund. Is this you again? Yeah. Don't go too far.
So, this fund, is being proposed by our auditors. It is a new accounting standard, and we had these funds in just a clearing account. So they were only, one number, and the auditor needs to have a revenue number and an expenditure number. So they asked me to create this new fund. And it's basically grants we get. They're usually one-time revenue sources. And I did put some examples in there for you.
Opioid revenue, early voting, bike grant, town clerk grant, prevention grant, diversion grant, youth services.
Yes, these are special revenue funds, and they are earmarked for special purposes.
And so right now, the funds go into the general fund, or do they go, where do they go right
They're in the
now?
general fund, but I'm going to move them to this fund.
Okay. And, what?
So I know maybe I don't.
No, go ahead.
So he understands they're in the general fund, but they're not general fund usage.
Correct.
They're earmarked for special, certain restrictions and, certain conditions in order to be spent.
So, for example, if we get a grant, like, later today, we're gonna be approving a grant, and the money gets reimbursed for that grant, this is where it would park?
Are you talking about the bulletproof vest?
Yeah, like, which kind of grants park here, and which kind of grants don't park here?
So,
No, that'll go in CNR.
that goes
Okay.
in CNR, but,
If
so,
that is earmarked for CNR, it'll go back into CNR.
Okay.
for example, we got a bike grant for the police department.
Mhm.
What, chief, 5,000? Yeah, it was $5,000. And we put it in a clearing account, and we had to spend that on helmets and, materials, for the police department to give to residents in town. So that was one of them. The opioid money, is in there, and we use that for, we have a prevention specialist, a part-time prevention specialist that works for the town. And we've bought Narcan and some other items. That is a very restricted fund. I'm trying to think what else is in there.
Cannabis is in there.
No, cannabis is a separate fund. I put it in a separate fund. The town clerk gets a historical grant every year for $5,500 to update some of their records, and that's in there. I'm trying to think what else.
No, that's okay. I mean, if the auditor is requesting it, obviously, I think we should follow the auditor's advice. I was just trying to get a better understanding of what we were doing before and what would go in here, so thank you, that's helpful. Any other questions?
And in the audit this year, they put it in this, it's gonna be in the special, revenue fund section, and they have it listed as the title that I proposed.
Okay. So the Special Revenue Fund, Fund 160?
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion from the council on that? Do we need to transfer any current year appropriations into that fund after creating it, or is this just strictly perspective?
I'm just gonna, after I get permission to create the fund, I'm just gonna do the transfers into this new fund.
Okay. Do we need to waive, you can do all those transfers unilaterally, you don't have to come back to us, right? Okay. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, well, let me start with this. I'll accept a motion to approve, what do you want the fund to be, the motion to say? Approve the creation of a special revenue, general government and social services fund, special revenues fund?
Yes.
So I'll take a motion with that title.
Motion approved.
Made by Al, seconded by Jack. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstention, motion carries unanimously. Next is set salary for Director of Human Resources at pay scale E4. And then the suggested range is there. As you know, the town charter passed a referendum in November and went into effect in January 1. So the new town charter is now in effect. As part of that, the voters decided to, we supported, the Charter Revision Commission supported, and the voters ultimately affirmed the creation of a Director of Human Resources position. So now, the first step in that process would be for us to set the salary scale so we can begin the job hiring process. So I'll open this up for discussion, or unless the town manager has anything to add.
Just a couple of things. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We did a little research to, municipalities our size that have HR directors and a comparable, salary range. In addition, this is in line with the Director of, Human Services, the Library, Director, so it's in line with those directors already. My recommendation is E4, and, the range is, before you.
I'll open it up to any questions for the town manager. Okay, go ahead.
Tony, how is that field out there? Is there quite a bit of people out there that's looking to be hired? Or is that one that we got to send the headhunters out to try and get?
We just, started the advertising, and I don't, do we have any? We haven't received, huh? Yeah, I had her start. I'm not aware of how the, applications are coming in, to be honest with you. We just started this last week.
So you're doing it in-house, accepting applications
Yeah,
rather than
no
hiring
different
an
than-
outside?
What's that?
You're-
I'm sorry.
You are having it in-house, looking for someone to fill that spot, rather than hiring a consultant firm to hire somebody or,
Correct. No
Yes,
different than any other director.
But let me just clarify, we're not seeking only internal candidates, we're seeking external candidates as well, correct?
We advertised outside.
Okay. Is there a job description? I know you have the ability to approve job descriptions, but is there a job description of the position, qualifications, all that was prepared as part of that application?
Yes.
Would you be willing to share it with the council for the next meeting, just so we could review it, and if we had any feedback before we get too far along the
Sure.
process, provide it? Okay. Any other, and this salary range, 77 to 109, so the library director and the, human services
Human
director,
service.
that's the same level that they're at?
Yes.
Okay. And did we look at neighboring or comparable municipalities to see what their ranges were?
We looked at municipalities that were, similar in size to Cromwell.
Okay. Do you remember which ones, and just so we can have the data?
Which ones? You had the list.
I do. So a lot of them, they weren't exactly HR directors, because I have found in my research that towns of our size actually don't have HR directors. There's a couple. They're more like senior executive assistants to first selectmen, or town managers that handle the HR responsibilities. So, towns of similar size, I did East Windsor, Stafford, cause we're like around 14,000, so I did between 10 and like 16. What are towns that are closer? I have a list, but I can email it to you if you want. It's a spreadsheet.
Yeah, if you want to send it to the council. Other comments from counselors on it?
This is a full-time position, correct?
Correct.
And will he or she have a staff person as well?
Or will they share a secretary with another department?
No, they'll be in the same office they're in, so the, individual that, is already, assigned to HR will continue to work in HR.
Got it.
Because those positions pick up the slack when, such as answering questions or telephones if no one's in the, town manager's office.
Do we currently have a part-time employee in the Human
We do.
Resources Department? Can you tell me what the salary is for the part-time employee? I know we approved it last budget, and I can't remember off the top of my head. I feel like it's like somewhere in the 60s.
It is in the 60s. I think it was 60.
Do we know, part-time is what, how many hours?
She's budgeted at 25 hours.
A week?
Yes.
At 60,
Well,
mid to,
her, I mean,
I feel like it was 68, but I'm just going off of from,
We don't go by that, we go by her hourly, so whatever she puts in is what she's paid.
I feel like we're kind of aiming low here for low-hanging fruit, at $110,000 to be a director of human resources. I mean, I don't know what we're going to get. Is it worth inexperience over you know, and hiring someone at 110,000 to be the Director of Human Resources, is it worth,
Well, again,
is
we
it
don't
worth
know
skimping on the salary to get lower hanging fruit?
We don't know what
over
we're
a
gonna
lawsuit
get,
or-
So I would recommend that this be approved, and if we have a problem attracting, then we come back.
Yeah, but what are we attracting at 110? That's the problem I'm worried about.
But again, you're looking at.
I'm looking for experience, not,
We're looking, but that's not to say we're not gonna get people with experience. We did a comparison to those municipalities that in some cases are larger than ours. And, again, as Amanda pointed out, most of them don't even have HR. Those that do, we're in the ballpark with what we're proposing.
all right, I just did a quick one earlier today, and Berlin's paying 125,000 a year, I think.
Yeah, but we're not compared to Berlin because we're not the size of Berlin.
No, they're bigger than we are,
That's right.
and they're paying more.
Yeah,
But not drastically more. You know what I mean?
exactly. That's a good point. That's the point.
I'm just, all right, I'm just saying, I'm worried about not attracting the right person for the job.
What are the minimum requirements? A master's in?
I'd have to pull the job description.
All right, is that right?
What are the average salaries of the department heads we have now for the other departments?
I just, which ones now?
But for any other of our directors for the town of Cromwell.
This would be in line with the librarian and the human services director. They're both E4s.
I feel like it should hold a little more weight, that's all I'm saying.
Why? I'm sure the librarian and the human resource.
It's a big job, but you need a lot of knowledge.
You need knowledge for their jobs, and they're gonna tell you that also.
Mr. Waters, and then I'll add a comment that may
All
be
right,
able to get us.
Tony,
Yes.
the wages are gonna go according to their credentials, correct? Their education, degrees, et cetera, correct?
Being in a non-bargaining unit member, I can start them anywhere between 77.9 and 109.7
But you're gonna go according to their credentials, correct?
in experience, yes.
Credential, in other words, education, if they have a
Yeah.
master's degree and stuff like that.
Yes.
Good, okay, thank you.
So, we could do one of two things this evening. We could approve the range, and then we could ask for more information and amend it in the future if we feel like we need to amend it. Or if we want to table it and get that information, we could add, I know we have a meeting next week, maybe we could add 5 minutes before, we just have one agenda item, a special meeting, just to approve the salary before that other meeting were to start. So we can get this, if it's already being out there, people are gonna ask what the salary range is, they may need to know.
I take it back, I didn't put it up.
Oh,
yet,
okay.
Only because I didn't get the salary range approved.
So what we could do is on the 20th, if, at 4:45, we can convene and approve the final salary number, that's only an additional 4 business days lost. And that way we have the information we need for everyone to feel comfortable making the decision, or we can make a decision with this range tonight and then amend it next week if we feel that it's not appropriate. I'll give you guys the option. I think both of those are
Well-
good compromises.
And I think we'll find out if it's not appropriate. Because if we put that out there and it's a salary that's in the range of our directors currently, then I think it's fair to put it out there and see what we get in response. And if we get response and we get a great candidate in the next few weeks, that'll be wonderful. And if we don't, that'll be an indication that we may have to modify what we're trying to do. So in my opinion, I would say let's at least try and see where we go with this before we throw it away.
I would agree with Councilman Henneman's statements on that, and I think we have to be, and to the credit of the town manager, I think it's very important that we are in line with other director-level positions within the town, so as not to cause unintended consequences and problems So I'm comfortable with moving ahead.
Any other discussion on that?
I was kind of
Go ahead, Jim.
curious, do these kinds of positions, usually come with like a probationary period where you evaluate their performance to ensure that they're kind of at least meeting the standard that you expect before things become more permanent?
When I do up the letter of, the offer letter, I, put, sometimes probationary periods, but these individuals, can be, they're at will, so they can be terminated at any time.
Thank you.
So we've had discussion on it. Is there any further discussion, or would someone like to make a motion whichever way?
I'll make a motion that, well, I guess it would be to approve that item. And that's it. I would make a motion to approve that particular item with the wage break
At E4?
at E4.
Okay, there was a motion made by Jack, seconded by Al. Any further discussion on that? My only comment would be if we could get emailed to us the comparable breakdown and the job description, and if we need to make any amendments, we can do so. But just if you could send those two data points out for us, I think that would make the council feel a little more comfortable. So, motion been made, seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Opposed?
Abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Next item, review and approve bulletproof vest grant in the amount of $14,700, 50% reimbursable. You have a memo in your file outlining the grant, but Chief?
Good evening. So yes, so every 2 years, we put in for a federal grant for bulletproof vests. As many of you should know or know that every 5 years, each officer gets a brand-new vest, which right now, they're a little over $1,000. And this allows us to get at least 50% back. So it's kind of a win-win.
Any questions for the chief on the vest reimbursements for our officers? Okay. Hearing none, I'll have a motion to approve the bulletproof vest grant in the amount of $14,700. Is that from the capital non-reoccurring account? What account should we say that's from? From CNR?
So moved.
Okay. Made by Jack, second by Paula. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstention, motion carries unanimously. Next is tax refunds.
Motion approved 1 through 22.
Motion made by Mr. Waters, second by Mr. Hennahan. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Next, we'll welcome back our chief of police. Hope you didn't get too comfortable sitting down for your monthly update.
So good evening. So in front of you, you have my report to the town manager, also with reports from K-9 Officer Dean, Sergeant Carlson, and Sergeant Bankston. Besides what you have in front of you, I'm sure as many of you know, this will be my second to last town council meeting. February will be my last one. So I'll have more to say next month, but just so you know, next month will be my last one. The departments, the captain and I are working hard on our budget to make sure we present a fair and solid budget for the police department, as well as our supervisors, and the captain and I are working on our evaluations for accreditation and for the town. Every year we have to do annual evaluations for all members of the department, and I think it's a very, very positive thing to continue to do. So with that said, do you have any questions for me or any comments about my?
Mr. Waters.
Town manager, do we have to accept his retirement resignation, or could we keep him?
I'm still waiting for it, Mr. Waters, so it's funny you should say that.
I'm sorry?
Technically, I haven't accepted it yet.
Okay. Would you give it some consideration, please?
It's better in the warm weather, I think.
Thank you, Chief.
Any other questions for the chief? Chief, I just want to commend,
I just have one question.
oh, sorry.
I just had one quick
Didn't look to
question.
my right.
One, I agree, we haven't, accepted your resignation yet. But what are the property checks that you all do? That's a huge number.
So property checks are like we go through a business,
Yeah,
any business in town, and the officers will call it in that they did a property check at that address. So what that is, especially overnight, kind of helps with burglars and burglaries.
Yeah.
So it's them checking the buildings. could be
Okay.
schools, it could be churches, it could be different businesses in town. That's what those are for.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Chief, I wanted to commend the department. I was one of these calls for your monthly, I don't know if you knew this. Did you know this? No. Okay, I was one of these calls this month on December 18th. I think that was me, this tracking of a suspicious person. One of my neighbors had called me to tell me that there's someone loitering behind our condo units, and they appeared intoxicated, and she was home alone, and she was frightened, and if I would go out and take a look. So what I did was I took my attack dog, the Corgi, and walked the block, and I didn't see a suspicious person. So I said, okay, I didn't see anything. Me and the Corgi checked it out, nothing out there. I was getting ready for bed, and I heard the suspicious person, and I saw the suspicious person, and they were approaching the different garage doors. And my husband was out of state, and so I was home alone. So then I was frightened, and so then I called the police. I gotta just commend that's the December 18th. That was me. They got there in under 2 minutes. It was just so well done. I saw the dog tracking. It made me feel so incredibly safe that the officers responded within 2 minutes of the call. And they had no clue who I was. I was just another member of the public, and they just did an outstanding job. It made me feel safe. I was texting the multiple neighbors were texting me, is everything okay? Did they catch him? Whatever. They didn't find who it was, but the point was, you guys were there. You guys were there really quickly. Like I said, one of my neighbors is a mom. Her spouse works overnight, so she was alone with her kids. They all felt so incredibly safe because of how fast you guys responded, how professionally you guys handled it. So I just want to give such great kudos to the work. And they were out there for like 30 minutes tracking. They I guess based off of this, they found footprints, it sounds like. So I just want to say thank you. My whole little condo strip, we're talking about how great you guys were the rest of the week.
Well, I truly do appreciate that. As you know, I know you guys and girls always give me kudos for the department, but it's the men and women of the department that make it so great. And, I appreciate positive comments that come from anybody, any of our residents, especially in the world we're in today, where all we hear about is negativity with law enforcement. The men and women of Cromwell PD do so much positive things for this community that it's definitely good to hear positive things when they're deserved.
Yeah.
Because all we hear about is negative. So I think positive is what we need.
Yeah, so thank you. Just from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much.
I had one more comment. Just in light of that, I have been, and not to take up too much time, but I have been, obviously, like we all are, very much aware of what's going on in other municipalities, other cities with ICE and federal agents. And I worry kind of about what you just said, about how that activity can diminish our respect and our trust and our relationship with our law enforcement professionals. And I wasn't going to bring this up this evening, but I worry about it a lot. And I do want to say kudos to all of you in the department. I've had the same experience as James and many other residents with our police department. And I hope that our police department will share with us if any of those negative relationship enforcement issues are escalating as a result of what's happening nationally and within our own state. I mean, we had horrible things in Hartford just a few days ago. So I just want to put that out there, that I think we also I also want to let you know that I'm very worried about that and don't want anything to diminish the respect that you all deserve as law enforcement professionals.
I think that's on everyone's mind.
Yeah.
And a little homework for all of you, if you want to, when you go home, Google the Trust Act in the state of Connecticut. And that's what we follow, is the Trust Act. So that's why, when I look at other states, what's happened in other states, and I'm sure you heard, I think it was New Haven just mentioned something, and then the mayor mentioned that New Haven's law enforcement was not involved, because we're not involved unless it's a criminal matter. Administrative warrants, we don't assist with anything.
Yeah.
We don't get involved with that. And, you know, luckily, fortunately, Cromwell, I think maybe once last year after it happened, we heard of ICE was in Cromwell at one point. But they were here for about 15, 20 minutes, but after the fact, we were told that they were here. So,
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Chief. Any further questions for the chief?
No, I'd like to make
Go to Brian.
a bit of a public service announcement that in case of an emergency, call the police department, not the mayor. In case of an odor of fertilizer, call the mayor, not the police department.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That's all I have to say.
Brian, I appreciate that, because I can't tell you how many times I've gotten emails through the town manager, through the mayor.
I agree also, Brian, about the odor.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Chief. Now we have moved up from unfinished business to the discussion and possible action regarding the motion regarding the Chief of Police request from the Town Council meeting of November 12th, 2025, regular meeting. Deputy Mayor Waters wanted us to add this back to the agenda so we could make sure we had a clear motion. And I think I just want to reiterate what the motion was as far as we understood it. So Amanda, just confirm if I'm incorrect. If we go to our minutes from the packet, I think we have those minutes in here. The motion should be that the granting of the, is it the sick time payout?
Yes.
Yes, Amanda, could you read it and then we can discuss?
So a motion was made to approve in light of the chief of police's tenure with the town and not using any of his accrued sick leave, that the town council approves a partial payout of 25% of his accrued sick time.
One more time, just read it a little slower.
Yes.
A motion was made and seconded to approve in light of the chief of police's tenure with the town and not using any of his accrued sick leave, that the town council will approve a partial payout of 25% of his accrued sick time.
Mr. Waters had expressed concern that it would be creating a precedent, so maybe if we add due to his not using any of his accrued sick time, that will make it readily clear it's not just the tenure, but also the fact that he has a perfect attendance record. That way, we won't have any further issues on it. Would that solve the issue, Mr. Waters?
Very much so.
Due to? Okay. Is everyone in favor of amending? Because we can redo that motion with that. So, what I'd like to do is to accept a motion to rescind the prior approval, and then we'll do a second motion to approve the new language. So can I have a motion to rescind the prior approval
Motion to rescind.
made by Mr. Waters?
And approve the new,
We'll do that at two. We're gonna do it as two.
Okay.
So then by Jack, do you second that?
yes.
Okay, motion made and seconded to rescind the original. Although, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those favor and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Now I'll accept a motion to adopt the language that Amanda read with the addition of the words due to prior to the payout benefit, so it's clear that that is the triggering condition through which we are making this consideration. I'll take a motion for that.
Motion,
Made by Al,
Second.
second by Jack. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstention, motion carries unanimously. Chief, thank you
Thank-
again for your perfect attendance and your service to the town.
thank you.
We will now move to the Public Works Director update. Mr. Spina.
Thank you, James.
Yep, you're welcome.
Good evening. There's a few updates in your packet. I too, along with the rest of the department heads, have been overwhelmed with budgets the last few weeks, so I met with every single supervisor of all the divisions and sat and heard their requests, and with the exception of the sewer department, which I plan to sit with Dan either tomorrow or Friday or right after the weekend. So next week, I'll be there taking everyone's considerations in and trying to get them as much as I think they conceivably need, and I will consolidate them and present a department budget to Mr. Salvatore by next Friday afternoon. Other than that, a couple other CNR updates if you're interested. Last year during the budget process, you guys appropriated money for some improvements to our 2 brine trucks. And I'm happy to report that even though the trucks, unfortunately, they were promised to be back before Thanksgiving. That's the bad news is they didn't come back until Monday. But we now have the ability to pre-treat the whole town before our frozen precipitation event. So electronic ground control speeds, we can set the application rates based on, is it more ice we're expecting, less ice, and we can spray up to 1, 2, or 3 lanes at once. So, barring no traffic coming at us, we can go down the center line and get the whole road with each pass. So I'm excited about that. And then another CNR project that was approved. I'm sure some of you has probably seen the activity, the gates for Nooks Hill and South Street. The company showed up earlier this week and started the installation, and hopefully within a few days we'll be prepared next time we have to close one or both of those roads to enhance our public safety and keep people out of that situation. And other than that, if there's any questions, I'll try and answer them for you.
Any questions for the Public Works Director? Lou, just a couple of quick things for myself. As these projects, especially the new trucks or the repairs, if you could start maybe photographing like before and after, so for example, if you replace something and it's rotted out and rusted out, I think one of the things that we haven't done a good job on is explaining to the public. We explain in the abstract, right, hey, we need a new X, Y, and Z because of Q. But I think sometimes seeing is believing, and so if we're replacing a rusted out bed, or if we're whatever it is, if we have a before and after, I think it just will be helpful when you're going over the CNRs and what you did in the past year. You can attach the photos into the minutes and people can see the amount of work that needed to get done and how it was achieved, because I think that's helpful for people. And then the other question I had is, has there been any discussions with comparing CNR lists with either the fire district to see if there's any, especially with trucks or whatever, if there's shared things that both of you want to purchase in the next couple years, so that way you guys can get in alignment, not just the fire district, the fire district to start.
So I haven't had it. I mean, I actually spoke with Joe. He was in my office yesterday, but we haven't done that. I think we both have an understanding of what each department has, and we always share our equipment when asked. Joe's borrowed Sewer's mini excavator. He's borrowed equipment from us, and he's also reciprocated if there was ever anything that he has that we don't. So we certainly can open that dialogue to see if there may be some opportunity moving forward. I'm certainly not opposed to that at all. So.
Yeah, I just heard that they were looking to purchase some new trucks in this year's budget or next year's budget. So if we have, if there's a way to share, if we know if they're going to buy one this year and we know in 2 years we are going to need to buy one, maybe there's a way for us to buy it together based off of whatever operational needs we have. So we share, because ultimately it's all the same tax base. We can kind of save money for everybody.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to taking a look at that, see if anything makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Brian.
I got one. Any update or information on what I like to call Lake Cromwell? The flooded sewer line behind Shumpike and...
Last time I was asked that, I know, again, Dan, our sewer administrator, who was just, I wish you brought this up earlier because he was here. He did reach out to the DEEP, and he did reach out to the property owners. DEEP's probably taken a little bit longer to push it along than we'd like, and he did say that all the property owners seemed amenable to hearing what solutions are out there and what, if there's something that they can contribute, I don't know financially, but they're certainly amenable to hearing what the options are and potentially seeing what, if any, their role in it would be. I'll ask him tomorrow, and maybe I'll make that something that we talk about 4 weeks from now.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of important
if
because...
there's anything to report, I
Right.
don't know that anything significant has happened.
Yeah. I mean, we have a submerged sewer line. If there's any sort of catastrophic,
Maybe Wayne knows. Have you heard anything from Dan about it? Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything of substance to report. I did, over the last couple of months, ask him twice, and it was the same answer that he hasn't really gotten anything substantial back from the DEEP yet. So, but certainly when there's something worth sharing, we'll share.
Okay.
And one other thing I wanted to update. I know it was a goal of the board. We've since late October, we've got a fleet management software program running. NapaTrax was the most cost efficient. I think it accomplishes what everyone was hoping it would. And we have staff, Mario, our head mechanic, has been dropping off a handful of binders at a time with, there's a binder for every plated vehicle in town. And our administrative staff has been inputting the last 24 months of data that I think will provide some insight when we're looking to replace some vehicles, so.
Good news. Thanks.
Thank you, Lou. Any further questions for the Public Works Director? Okay, hearing none, I'll move on to, thank you, Lou. Have a good night. Happy New Year. I'll move on to citizens' comments. At this time, citizens may present citizens' comments to the council, 2 minutes per speaker. Please be respectful. Please state your name and your mailing address for the record. Are there any citizens' comments? Any citizens' comments? Okay, I did not receive any correspondence this month, so we will move on to approval of the minutes. We have 2 packets of minutes in our agenda books for the December 10th and December 22nd, 2025 meetings. Any notes on either of those meetings? Otherwise, I'll accept a motion to approve both set of minutes.
So moved.
Made by Paula. Second by Jack. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Now we move on to item Q, appointments. I realize that there's one additional appointment that I neglected to put into the packet, and it may impact some of the shuffling around of the position. Rosanna is currently a Community Events Committee alternate. She wanted to, with the vacancy, become a permanent member. So what I'm gonna recommend is Raymond fills Rosanna's seat as an alternate, and Rosanna moves up as a permanent member. I think that makes sense. Can we just do it that way, where we have an appointment to move Rosanna from an alternate to a permanent member and replace her with Raymond as the new alternate member?
So you have a void right now.
Yes.
You can make Rosanna the appointment,
Okay.
and you can do what you pointed out.
Okay.
What the appointment is on to what?
So item Q1C, Community Events Committee, we have an appointment for a regular slot for Raymond. Rosanna's currently an alternate. She's asked to move from alternate to permanent member, so I think it would make sense, since she's been serving as an alternate, to move her to permanent, and then have Mr. Migliaro, say it again for me? Migliaro. Become a alternate, so that way everyone kind of moves up the ladder. I think that's fair. My apologies for not bringing that up earlier. So can I have a motion to amend the agenda to have Raymond be appointed as an alternate and Rosanna be appointed as a regular member?
Motion approved.
Made by Al.
Second.
Second by Brian. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Now, I'll accept a motion to approve appointments 1A through D as proposed in the agenda. So that's Steve Wagonowski to the Public Asset and Facilities Committee, Patricia Jepson to the Conservation Committee, Raymond to the Community Events Committee as an alternate, and Rosanna Glynn as a appointment to the Community Events Committee as a permanent member.
Motion.
Motion made by Brian.
Second.
Second by Al. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. Then we had a late addition today with Mr. John Keithan for a position on the Public Asset and Facilities Committee. Can I have a motion to approve John? For those of you who don't know John, John has been a long-term member of the Planning and Zoning Commission in town, amongst other boards, long history of service with the town, and has had expressed interest early in being on the Public Asset and Facilities Committee. He wanted to get his application in for the last session, but he was unable to do so, so he submitted it this afternoon to Amanda. I'm happy to provide in the minutes copies of his application, but I wholly endorse him, and I hope you all will as well.
Motion approved.
They have it. Okay, they have it, great. Motion made by Al, second by Jack. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Next, we have reappointment, John Comatos, to Planning and Zoning as an alternate. You see his application is in our packet. In that application, he's explained that he's been an alternate for the last 2 years, has been seated at every meeting, is a structural engineer, and has enjoyed his time on the committee. Notably, I should say, his references include Ann Grassa, who's a Democrat on the Planning and Zoning Commission, as well as Mike Kanata and Andrew Holt, who are Republicans on the committee. So I think it shows that his colleagues value his input and opinion and would like him reappointed as well. He is unaffiliated, but he does a fantastic and wonderful job. So, go ahead. Motion made by Al.
Second.
Second by Jack. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Reappointments for Youth Services Board, we have two, Gail Ivy and Barbara McLean, for terms expiring 1/1/27.
Motion approved.
Motion made by Al, second by Jack. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no opposition, motion carries. Next is Zoning Board of Appeals. We have 3 reappointments, Joseph Moran, Tomer Cornfield, and Steve Waganowski for reappointments to those committees. They're currently all serving. May I have a motion to reappoint the 3 gentlemen?
Motion.
Motion made by Al, second by Brian. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries unanimously. Now we are on to informational items. Item R, do any counselors have informational items for members of the public? Oh my, I think we missed St. Patrick's Day. Yes, you are right, we did miss St. Patrick's Day, I didn't write it in here. So let's talk about St. Patrick's Day. Kathy Holden, who is she the chair of the committee now?
Yes.
The chair of the committee indicated that they are having difficulty raising money this year, and they wanted to reach out to see if there was any interest in a donation from the town of Cromwell for the town parade. I told her that I would forward the message and bring it to the council. I don't know if the council is willing to do a mid-year donation. We haven't done something like that. I don't know if we've done something like that before for them, but I wanted to I was asked to bring the information forward, and I wanted to bring that over to the council for discussion. Go ahead.
According to their request that I received, they're looking from anywhere from $50 to $200, which there's a lot of good publicity and a lot of good representation in this particular parade in Hartford. It's nice to see other towns in there, and also Cromwell. Myself, I was involved in that since on and about 2015. Cold days, but it's really nice, and it's a nice feeling to represent Cromwell in that. And that's why I know Kathy, I spoke with Kathy and I asked, let's see if the town can donate something anyways. $50, $75, $100, or $150, or $200. Well, for next month.
Right.
Yes, but we have times, because it's gonna be, in March is the parade.
If I may recommend, if you're gonna make a donation, what's she asking, 50 to what?
50 to 200.
Might as well make a recommendation on the 200 and see where it goes with the Board of Finance.
Okay.
That's
He
great.
said that's great. Okay, so there's a recommendation for 200. There was a range that was asked for 50 to 200. Do I have a motion on any number? It can be 200, it can be less, it can be more, well, not more, it can be less.
It's coming out of the town.
Yeah, it would be a donation from the town. Like we donate to other charitable organizations during our normal budget cycle. They did not submit a letter to us as part of normal budgeting. So this would come from what, general fund, or, yeah, okay.
What does it typically cost us to march in the Hartford Parade?
Jack?
What does
or-
it typically cost us to march?
On about $3,000.
And and usually the money is raised by contributions
Yes.
and donations?
Yes.
And they did express to me that this year they're having a hard time raising the money. They're behind on ticket sales for where they would like to be. They have their big fundraiser. Jack, do you know when that is? That's February?
February 22nd.
February 22nd is their big fundraiser, but based off of their current ticket sales, they're a little jumpy that they're not gonna make their their final number. So they asked if the town could, A, help advertise, and I said I would advertise it, but B, if they would be we'd be willing to make a donation between $500 and $200.
If I may,
50.
50 to 200, what did I say?
Keeps going up.
Oh, yeah, 50 to 200, that's, listen, it's been a long week.
If I may, I asked Kathy, when was the last time we ever received money from the town of Cromwell? She said 1984, which was a small amount at the time. That's what she said. So I'm just passing that along.
I think it's a great event. We donate to other charities in town and nonprofits in town. They represent the town every year. There's a gentleman sitting to my right that's being honored this year. There's a gentleman sitting to my left that was honored in a prior year. So I know that they honor a lot of town residents, and it's a great community event that I always tend to be sick for, but hopefully this year I won't have the flu or COVID. That last year was the flu, the year before was COVID. So is there any appetite from the council to entertain the donation request? Somebody has to make a motion if there is.
I'll make a motion.
In what amount, Mr. Waters?
Whatever the town could afford.
Well, hold on. It has to be a set amount. It has to be a set amount.
Okay, I'm sorry. I recommend we do $200.
Okay, there's been a motion for $200. Is there a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Brian. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Any other informational items? Otherwise, I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Go ahead, Mr. Luna.
James, have you heard anything about the Cultural District Commission?
Yes, okay, I'm glad you brought that
I
up.
know we're having a bunch of meetings now.
On Monday, we are going to be meeting, the Cultural District Commission is going to be meeting. We heard back from the state on our application. They were encouraging. There are a few more things that we have to do. There were 5 items that were identified that need to be addressed. One, what resources do the town provide for cultural or economic development activities? I think I forwarded that over to you, Tony and Amanda. So we'll amend a letter explaining what we do for economic development. We need to reach out to the schools and have the schools provide us with what arts enrichment programming they do outside of the schools. Karen Ambler is going to be looking into that for us, as is Rosemary Mattis. The other item was they need a letter from me. I wrote a letter. It was it was the email with the application. They said it needs to be on my letterhead, so I'm going to redo that on letterhead. And then the last piece of feedback they gave was that our district was a little larger than what their guidelines would like. We proposed the entirety of Main Street because of the businesses that are located along Main Street that are unique and culturally significant to Cromwell, as well as the Travelers Championship, which is at the north end of Main Street. As a compromise, they proposed a north and south cultural district. A north cultural district would be from like the funeral home to the TPC, and the south cultural district would be from the from the town Valor Green down to the Riverport. We're going to be discussing that Monday. I think there's some hesitation about splitting it up like that because part of what the application called for was that the cultural districts are accessible and walkable. There's a sidewalk the entire length of it. I acknowledge that our Main Street is 4 miles long, but there's also a bus route that goes the entire length of our Main Street. And again, there's a sidewalk the entire length of it. The commission and I think this council both had a little bit of agita about excluding businesses in the northern part of Main Street because of how vibrant they are to our local culture and community. And I'm not just saying that because Brian's 2 chairs down from me, but I'm saying it because the businesses that make up the northern commercial section of Main Street, whether it's Brian's business, Nostalgia, or if it's Tony's Flower Shop, or the excellent taco place that's there, or Gardener's Dream, Home Growery, there's all these really unique businesses that we would like to be able to highlight, and not to mention the Travelers Championship is at the north end of that whole district, which is the largest sporting event in Connecticut and second largest in New England. So wanting to use those as cultural attractions for this economic development kind of cultural district idea that we've been developing for the last year and a half, chopping off the northern half of the district is something that's kind of been difficult for us to kind of wrap our heads around. They're suggesting splitting it in 2 and then advertising them as 2 separate districts. That it's not like Stewart doesn't have enough work to do and is trying to retire than to ask him to advertise 2 separate districts. So part of what we're going to be discussing on Monday is what to do with that feedback, if we want to resubmit with maybe a better letter articulating why we think it should all be included, or if we're going to split it into 2, having an understanding that the state will approve a uniform marketing campaign for both of them. If it gets approved, not only will it get put on the state tourism website, but there is some, not a lot, but there's I think it's under $5,000 of marketing money that will then come to the town to market those businesses in that area. So I hesitate to break it down.
What did they state was the advantage for splitting it? Because it doesn't seem to make sense.
Yeah, because they're not.
Yeah,
Well, and not for nothing, if you split it, you're leaving out a big part of
Right.
Cromwell's history. I mean,
Yeah.
we were put on the map for our rose
Correct.
brewery, which lays smack dab in the middle of
Yeah,
both of
and if
those
you
districts.
split it up,
And
then there could be a
historic
void.
Frisbee House
Yeah.
lays smack dab in the middle
Sure.
of those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you. And I think that's part of maybe we need to do a better job of presenting it. I mean, I don't know if folks looked at the application, but it was 240 pages of really detailed, wonderful breakdown of exactly those things. So I think what we're going to do on Monday is maybe write a cover letter that better explains it and addresses it. I'm just trying to pull the application. Let me just pull it so I can read exactly what
I
she
took a
wrote.
quick look at what Amanda showed me, and my recommendation is not to split it.
Yeah.
You know, we're kind of unique compared to other jurisdictions where, they have sections that are cultural districts. Ours is one whole
Right.
long strip.
Right, right.
And it plays from north to south, south to north, and, I think if there's a way, we should go back and maybe try to better explain that. But I don't think we should be looking at 2 separate districts.
I agree with that. Yeah, what she said will, I'm trying to open it on my phone, it's in a weird format. In this reapplication, hold on, let me download it in a different way so I can read it properly.
And oh, by the way, somebody bought Woody's.
You stole that from me, I was just gonna
They're gonna run it as Woody's.
Yep.
That's nice.
And what are they gonna sell?
Same thing,
Ice cream.
Yeah.
But if it didn't work the
Okay.
first time,
depends on operators, never know. That's
Um,
what I was just gonna say, Tony, thank you.
So here are the comments, let me just read it verbatim. In this reapplication, the proposed boundaries of the Cromwell Cultural District are still a concern. Specifically, at approximately 4 miles from north to south, it would take a moderate walker 90 to 100 minutes without stopping to walk the length of the area. It is not reasonable to expect visitors to walk the length of the proposed district. Additionally, much of the area north of the Memorial Town Green, while historic, consists of private homes which are not open to the public. However, COA is mindful of the process of creating a cultural district. The town of Cromwell has prioritized inclusivity over walkability from the start, with the goal of including assets that are key to a local thriving creative economy. With this in mind, the state urges the commission to divide the proposed Cromwell Cultural District into 2 sub-districts as follows: 1, south 2 River Road to Memorial Town Green; 2, South Park Street to Travelers Championship Golf Course. The Cultural District Commission should give some thought as to how you will brand and what you will name these 2 sub-districts. It is important to connect these areas under a unified identity while maintaining each area's distinctive characteristics. As you work through the formation and implementation of a cultural district plan, it will be critical to manage expectations for visitors and promote the distinctive characteristics of each sub-district while weaving together the story of Cromwell as home to a creative economy. Prior to scheduling the Cultural District Review Tour, the Connecticut Office of the Arts poses the following questions to the Cromwell Cultural District Commission. How will the North Subdivision District be activated and programmed to encourage walking and engaging with cultural assets? Does the commission have preliminary thoughts on how you will brand and promote distinct assets in each sub-district? And what redevelopment plans are there for the area from South Street to the Route 9 entrance? Once the commission has discussed these questions at your next meeting, please submit a response in writing to the Connecticut Office of the Arts. And then there's the items that she wants supplemented. So that was the feedback from the state.
Excuse me, did you say South Park to the Travelers Championship?
Yeah, I don't know if those street names
yeah,
are right.
That's, that's,
South Park,
Where's South Park Road?
that's,
the old American Legion Hall.
Green is where the Christmas,
yeah, where the tree lighting
so
is.
that makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Splitting it,
So they're,
in a
they're,
way that doesn't split.
yeah, I was wrong. It sounds like they're proposing to split from the river and Route 9 to the Memorial Town Green.
Right.
And then from the Memorial Town Green to the Traveler. I don't think that makes sense.
No, that's just one.
It's still the same
that's
thing.
one- yeah, that's just one district.
So what,
Talking of both of Main Street.
yeah. So why don't we do this? At Monday's meeting, we'll write a better letter that better explains why we still think it should be one district. If they want to have two sub-districts within the district, it's still one, Cromwell Main Street Cultural District with a, north commercial district and a south Riverport district, but it's still one district. If they need, I don't really see the need for dividing it.
My question to them would be, if we subdivide it into two districts, if you're going to visit both districts on the same day anyways,
Yeah.
whether you walk it or not,
Or
you've got to
drive
get
it.
from one to the other.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it changes anything significantly.
No.
They also have to have two
Okay,
commissions.
we'll do that, James.
Yeah,
They need
And
two commissions
I have another
or
question.
one?
yeah. So why don't we do this? On Monday, we'll write an amended letter, we'll workshop it, and then we'll we'll circulate it amongst everyone on the council for more feedback. If counselors want to send me a letter saying why they support one district over two, that may also be helpful. We obviously approved the district as stated back a year or two ago when we passed the ordinance saying that would be our district. We would be the 5th cultural district in the state if this got approved. So the other ones are much smaller, but I think the fact that we have a Main Street the way we do is really unique because one of the things we pointed out in our application is other than the gas stations, we do not believe there is any chain stores and Dollar General. There are no other chain stores on the entirety length of Main Street, which we think is really important to preserving local character and promoting local economies. So we pointed that out as something we were really proud of that made it unique. And also that the Main Street, tracking north on Main Street, you track the development of American history and American economic history. So we thought it was a really unique tableau of not only art and culture and also history. So I talked to the Historical Society about it too, and they think I read it to them and they were very perplexed about why they would want to separate, even in the way they were proposing, separate the historic houses from the town green when they're right next to each other. It didn't seem to make sense to them either. So if folks want to write letters of support for a unified district, that may be helpful. And then on Monday, the commission will try to workshop something stronger to explain to the state why we think it should all be one.
Where are we meeting?
I think we're meeting in 222.
And one more question.
Yeah.
How's Riverport going?
Yeah, great question. So Riverport needs more volunteers. They're meeting tomorrow via Zoom if anyone wants to volunteer to help out with Riverport. They've raised about $7,000 and change so far. They submitted today to the town manager a request for about $30,000 of town funds to help contribute to their fundraising goal. They're trying to raise $50,000 total, so that they're asking the town to contribute $30,000. We went over with the chairman what we need in order to approve those requests. They need to get invoice quotes or estimates and quotes. The majority of that budget is fireworks, so they need to get a fireworks update for exactly how much it would cost to have the fireworks.
Who's the chair?
Steve, yeah. So they're going to come back over tomorrow. They're going to go over it at their meeting about what the expectations are for a budget submission. They need to get invoices, they need to get estimates, they need to get that stuff together so that way when it comes to us in March, I explain to them that we are pretty thorough, and if we're not seeing receipts or invoices and estimates, we may not be as generous as we otherwise would be with taxpayer money without something to actually back it up to say, this is what it would cost. And I know it's their first year back, and that takes seed money to get it going, and they're going to try to do private fundraisers and donations as well, continuing throughout the year. But for the town to put up such a substantial amount, which it hasn't gone through Tony's review yet, so Tony may recommend a lesser amount. But for us to put forward such a substantial amount, we need to make sure that the money is being spent on items for the fair, the festival that will be actually what the costs are. Because if we approve that money, I don't want to have in June or July or October or September, the week before, a crisis that they need $5,000 more for something because the invoice was wrong. We want to make sure that it's being done correctly and it's being tracked appropriately. So we had a pretty serious conversation today about what the expectations were. So that was reviewed. They've broken up into subgroups, so the subgroups are going to start working on different aspects of the event and try to drill down. There's a activity subgroup, there's an administration subgroup, there's a food subgroup, there's a vendor subgroup, so they're all now starting to kind of percolate on what they need to actually get started for a September festival date.
They're gonna be sending out letters to businesses.
Yes, yes. Jamin, do you want to talk about the letters? Because I know that, I think you and Steve were working on the letters at one point, right?
That was before,
Oh, that was before.
I joined up. But what we're doing is, we bought a domain for a website, and it's gonna have, obviously, operate like a normal website. But one thing we're gonna do is, and I think this is one of my priorities, is establishing a supporter or donor tier list. So you have top tier, I mean, we have one of those at least already, and on down. So with each tier comes different benefits or perks or whatever you want to call it, and it would be something we can go to businesses or potential donors and say, hey, instead of wasting all your time, not waste, but you know what I mean, like instead of taking up a lot of your time right now, here's a place where it has all the information you might need, and it's a little bit more legitimate and professional. So that's something we're working on right now. I'm not officially, I'm just a volunteer.
Jamie, what you're talking about, wouldn't it be like platinum, gold, silver, down?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. And the other thing we're thinking of, which I think is a really great idea, I wish I remember who came up with it, maybe it was multiple people, I don't know, but there might be some specific events with a specific, sponsor. So,
Parking provided by.
Exactly.
Fireworks
exactly.
sponsored by.
Exactly. So we have something like that. Dunk the tax collector, I don't know, something, that's still sort of percolating right now.
But anyone out there in the audience looking at all of you, if you want something to do tomorrow night, let me know, and I can add you to the Zoom meeting. Looking at the folks back there. If anyone, I'm looking at everybody. If anyone has more, I know they're all covering their heads now. Nobody's raising their head. Everyone's ducking. We definitely need help to try to make the Riverport come true.
The event is free?
The event is free, yeah. I think they're going to charge for the carnival rides. If the kiddos want to go on the rides, you have to buy tickets.
And that's only Thursday night and Friday night.
The carnival is,
Plus the carnival.
yeah, so correct. So the event is 3 days. The carnival is all 3 days, but it's just carnival, Thursday night, Friday night. Saturday is vendors, music, other events, carnival, and fireworks. And you're going to be in Majorca? Where are you going to be? Malta, that's where you're going to be.
Isn't that the same weekend at Durham Fair?
That is the same weekend as Durham Fair. They chose, the committee chose that as the weekend that they wanted to do it based off of some vendors' availability.
Sad.
That was the tough part, getting
It's hard to get the carnival rides.
Getting the carnival people.
Yeah, they have to take what you can get, with the carnival rides. The other options were July and October is gonna be too cold, and July is gonna be probably too warm. So if you wanna have it in prime, fair's time, and the vendor that's giving you the carnival rides says that's the weekend they're available, that's the weekend you're available.
Sign them up.
Sign them up.
Yep.
And they don't and my understanding is they don't charge us to be there, they make profit off of the ticket sales. So, it's a pretty mutually beneficial arrangement that, they'll be there. There's not a charge to us other than, electricity, hooking them up, whatever else, and then they make the profits. There's other ways you could do it too. You could do it where they charge you and then you make the ticket price, but I think it would make more sense if they're free, let them come for free, and then they can make the profit off of the tickets. And the other revenue sources for the town, though, would be like the vendors will charge for the vendors to set up their booths. When we did the summer art festival, that's what we did. We charged $50 per vendor, and that's how we paid for the bands using that money. It wasn't a clean, even break, but it did generate $2,000 or $3,000 of revenue that helps offset other expenses that event had. So I think we're looking to do the same type of thing. Any other informational items?
That's it.
Okay, hearing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Motion made. Second, by Paula. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Okay, we are adjourned at 8:35.